Mrs. Lewis starts a direct interaction with Liberty in chapter 1616. She starts off by comparing Liberty to Mrs. Stone, her aunt, when she was younger. Before she wed into a wealthy family, Mrs. Stone attracted numerous suitors due to her beauty and independence. This story makes a subtle reference to the wish of Mrs. Lewis that Liberty, like her mother and aunt, should join their affluent family, despite her early doubts. While graciously acknowledging the similarity between herself, her mother, and her aunt, Liberty dismisses it as a feature shared by siblings in general. She conducts herself with courtesy and composure the entire time. The subject then shifts to Duncan, and Mrs. Lewis inquires as to whether Liberty has any love feelings for her son. She replies truthfully, saying she thinks of Duncan as a friend, but has never experienced romantic feelings for him. Mrs. Lewis is persuaded that Liberty is telling the truth by her candor and clear eyes. Liberty learns that Mrs. Lewis is aware of Duncan's admiration for her, but she emphasizes that she will not accept Liberty as her daughter in law. She acknowledges Duncan's obstinacy and lets him know that she worries about his unrequited love. Liberty reassures Mrs. Lewis that while she values Duncan's love, she has no interest in getting married. She expresses her wish to live a regular life, free from the problems of another marriage, while recalling the sad memories of her failed marriage. She urges Mrs. Lewis to introduce Duncan to other suitable ladies, confident that he would eventually find someone more compatible with him. Mrs. Lewis expresses her worry about Duncan's chances of getting married by saying that she set up several blind dates for him, all of which he turned down. She mentions Lily, the best friend's daughter, who would be a good match for Duncan. Despite the fact that both of their families are well off, Lily has decided to stop pursuing Duncan. The chapter sheds light on the viewpoint of Mrs. Lewis, since she sincerely wants Duncan to be happy and have a bright future. She considers Lily to be a future daughter in law who would get along well with Duncan. Her openness and sincerity in having a talk with Liberty shows how concerned she is for her son's welfare. On the other hand, Liberty is unwavering in her resolve to forego a romantic involvement with Duncan. She appreciates her independence and the security she has found in her life since her divorce. As Liberty thanks Duncan for his devotion and advises him to consider other options, her honesty and humanity come through. As the discussion progresses, it becomes clear that Liberty and Mrs. Lewis both have Duncan's best interests in mind. Mrs. Lewis is prepared to accept the possibility that her son may not marry the woman he loves, but Liberty is adamant about her choice to put her own independence and well being first. We are left wondering what will happen next in Duncan's quest for love and Liberty's quest for self discovery as this chapter improves their comprehension of the characters' motivations and goals.